Okay, so hey guys, and welcome back to another predictions video. And in today's video, I'm going to be predicting the Bormann vs Demarco fight. If you're new around here though and you haven't yet subscribed, please do so. Like the video if you do need like the video, and let's get straight into it. So, going into this fight, Bormann is 17-1 with 7 KOs, and Demarco is 11-6 with no KOs. This fight is for the vacant IBO World Minimum Weight title. Bormann's last fight was a loss via split decision versus Neri Plata, and Demarco's last fight was a loss via split decision versus Udica. This is in Bormann's home country of Germany. Demarco's losses have come versus Udica in 2023, Alanese in 2022, Bermudez in 2021, Granadino in 2019, Clavel in 2019, and Granadino before that in 2018. To speak a bit more about what I've just said there, obviously, like I mentioned, vacant title, IBO title, so not one of the clear mandatory bodies, but nonetheless, I thought I'd come on here to do a prediction. I'm intrigued to see the progression in Bormann's career. I've followed her throughout her last 3-4 fights. She's become a world champion, lost that belt, and now has dropped down in weight to now fight for the world title again. And so I respect her for accepting the defeat against Neri Plata well and seemingly just being wanting to come down in weight, and so perhaps she saw that as one of the leading problems as to why she lost in that fight versus Neri Plata. To be completely honest, I can't seem to find footage anywhere of that fight versus Neri Plata, which is a shame because I mean a split decision. I'm sure it was an entertaining fight. It was two fighters who I'm sure would have put on an entertaining display, but nonetheless, Neri Plata is one of the top level fighters around in the women's game at the moment, and so no discredit for Bormann to go and get her first defeat against her. Obviously, Demarco, she's coming off a split decision loss. That was last year. She's not realistically a fighter who is seen as world level. I don't really believe that she is deserving of this opportunity of a world title fight, but nonetheless, she's here, and she's always a fighter who's gonna put up a test and is gonna be there to take fights against top level opposition, and she's only ever lost against top level opposition, and so Bormann's still definitely going to have to be on her A game, and is definitely not going to want to overlook somebody like Demarco. But also credit to Demarco for yet again going to somebody else's home country to fight them. Obviously she's gone off a split decision loss versus Udica, which isn't bad at all, to be fair. Udica is somebody who has been on a half decent run and is I believe a world champion. If not, she's fought for a world championship as of recent. But the Alanese fight, that was quite a bad defeat, to be completely honest. The Bermudez one, it was it was quite a bad defeat as well. But there's, like I mentioned, only lost against the top level fighters, and it is an ex-world champion in her own right. She did hold the WBO. I believe it was flyweight title. Obviously, she did lose it against Alanese, but nonetheless, she then went down in weight and possibly saw after quite bad Alanese defeat that she wasn't able to fight at flyweight, and then she dropped down to light flyweight, and now she's down at middleweight, minimum weight. So she has fought around in different weights. So perhaps this is a weight in which she's more comfortable at, and this is a weight where she might be able to thrive a bit better on, like that of Bormann. So it's going to be intriguing to see, first of all, who looks better at the weight, and second of all, who actually performs better at the weight. Speak about them both as fighters. Bormann, she's got a relatively good compact tight guard, especially early on. Sometimes it can open up a bit throughout the fight, but early on it's nice, it's tight, it's compact. She's not really going to get caught with too many shots as early on. She's got a good strong jab. She has the more power out of the two by far, and so she's definitely going to be wanting to put a statement performance here against Demarco on, and against somebody like Demarco who isn't got really much power in her shots, and she's never really been known as too much of an attacking threat. She's going to be wanting to put on a attacking performance. I'm sure Bormann will. She will want a centre of the ring. She is quite a physical fighter, so quite often I think Demarco has probably struggled with more physical fighters. She plants her feet well, Bormann. She will walk you down / break you down throughout fights. She's a mid-range type fighter. She's willing to stand and trade. Probably one of the reasons why I thought the Neri Plata fight would be so entertaining, just because I know that Neri Plata is willing to stand and trade, and I know Bormann is as well. And Bormann has the more power out of, I believe, Neri Plata and Bormann. Between her and Neri Plata, but Neri Plata probably has the better countering and perhaps the better technique at times. She improves throughout the fight, and she's got a good asserting jab at Bormann. Negatives, she's ducks her head in quite often. She can be outpaced. I think Neripata probably would have outpaced her in their fight. Like I said, I'm just going off hypothetical scenarios, but I think she probably could have outpaced her, and I think Bormann can struggle against her at a high pace. Her accuracy isn't amazing at times. Of course, she is there to be hit. She's got limited shot selection. She headhunts quite often. There's not really too much variation in her work at times. Cutting off the ring when she is controlling the centre, I would like to see her try cut off the ring a bit better, and I think you're definitely going to want to do that against somebody like a Demarco. Her defensive movement, she hasn't really got too much defensive movement. She kind of uses that tight guard, but like I say, that tight guard can often become a little bit weaker throughout fights when she gets perhaps more confident or more tired. In my opinion, I'd like to see her double up on her shots a bit better. She's got good, strong jab. If she doubles up on that jab, it would be 10 times as good in my opinion. Her footwork isn't always anything too crazy. Like I say, defensive movement, things like that isn't always too good, and her head can quite often be on the line. It's just actually finding the space to be able and the angles to be able to catch her on the chin. Demarco as a fighter, she's got solid head movement. That's probably one of her best attributes. She's much more, I think, better defensively than she is offensively, but she can lull you in to, then catch you with her shots of her own. She's a back foot type fighter. She's more than comfortable on the back foot, and she's willing to go straight away onto the back foot, really. She moves well on the back foot. She does have good movement, good defensive movement alongside good head movement. She pumps out a nice jab. She's experienced against top level opposition. She can weather storms. Against Alanese she got dropped early twice and still managed to weather a storm until I believe the 7th round, in which her corner threw in the towel. So she managed to get through a tough time and managed to still go in and still never actually officially got stopped. Of course, the corner did throw in the towel. She's got solid timing when she does utilise it. She didn't always use it, but it is solid when she wants to, and she will let her hands go, and she's willing to stand and trade a bit at times, which isn't always the best of plans for her, because I think if she's going to do that against Bormann, then Bormann will catch her with a shot and that will definitely hurt her. But she's willing to do that. Negatives about her, she's been hurt, and I don't know how good her actual ability of taking a shot is. I don't think necessarily, to take away anything from Alanese, the shots in which she was getting caught with Demarco, they didn't look too strong or anything like that, but they were dropping her and seemingly having quite a big effect. She does cross her feet over at times, so perhaps maybe that was a little bit of a thing, but she did seem to forget any sort of game plan she did have defensive wise as soon as she did get caught with a shot, and just did get straight drawn into a war of a fight. She moves sometimes into trouble with her defensive movement. She can kind of just run into punches a little bit at times. Against physical pressure, she really does struggle with that, and of course, like I mentioned, Bormann does put up quite a lot of that. She's got quite a weak guard, very low a lot of the time. Finding the right weight is something which she's always seems to struggle with, so I don't necessarily know if this is going to be something in which she's going to be better at this weight or not. She struggles to get opponents off of her with her minimal power. They don't really respect her, and Bormann I definitely don't think is going to respect her. And like I said, lack of power in general. And so there's clear negatives as to why you kind of argue that Demarco has struggled so much at the top level. But Bormann is the favourite for this fight, and I think that Bormann's going to win via TKO in round 5. I think she's going to be able to stop her. I think of course, Demarco's not been crazily active or anything like that, and when she has been, she's not really been winning. She's been losing at any top level fighter, and I think Bormann is still a high level operator, and I think she is going to be the more powerful, physical, in your face type fighter. And if she can cut off the ring, that would be the only thing in which could take Demarco into later rounds, in my opinion, is the movement of her. But I think eventually Bormann will just be able to break it down and just Demarco won't want it. I don't necessarily know if she's going to be able to drop her and stop her, or if it will be a corner stoppage, but I think it will be around round 5, round 6. Then who she could go on to fight? I mean, realistically, if she wants to stick around the minimum weight division, then there are fighters like Estrada and Valle available. They probably will end up rematching, but if they don't, there's not really too many high level opposition in which they haven't already fought. So an opponent like Bormann could be there as an option, and that would be a huge payday for her. So why not? Can't that happen? Or if she wants to stick around and fight somebody who has fought a lot of the top fighters, somebody like an Ortiz could make for a good fight. And like I mentioned, somebody who has fought a lot of the top girls around, but also has made a name for herself in the process. But yeah, that is it for today's video. I hope you did enjoy. Like the video if you didn't, like this, subscribe if you're new, and thanks for watching.